For there should be sedition among men and invading one another. We'll start off first by giving all praise and glories unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Harchak Wadash. That belong to our apostles, the bishops, the elders of the great millstone. Greetings, salutations, blessings, much love unto you, hopeful elect. It's your brother Shaquat from the Las Vegas Church with a quick video. And the video pretty much is about sedition. Okay? And this I read a line out of was 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, which this is a prophetic end time chapter, speaking of. And so I'll read it. It's a beautiful verse. It said, "For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." And what is the difference, or what is the position, or who's an equivalent position of kings or princes? Your politicians or your government. Okay, they set up the hierarchy of your society. Okay, and said they shall not be. They shall not regard. Okay, their kings or their princes, their officials, their city officials, the mayors. Okay, the president, the senators, and so on and so forth. Okay, the reason why this is important, and like I said, a really quick video, is because of this article. Okay, Trump says seditious Democrats urging U.S. troops to refuse illegal orders should face death. Okay, I'll read into it. It says President Donald Trump on Thursday. So when you see this, you should understand what that word sedition implies, right? And what it means, basically, right? It said President Donald Trump on Thursday assailed Democratic lawmakers who told members of the U.S. military they must refuse any illegal orders, calling them traitors who could face execution. Now, when you go back and look at the movie The Siege, particularly the character that Bruce Willis played, you watch that movie, and he was basically saying, like, hey, I followed orders. Our job is not to judge whether it's morally right or illegal or not. Our job is to follow orders. And it's true. That's what they're hired to follow orders, regardless of what those orders are. Okay, yeah, they do have it where they break out, and there's certain things. People get persecuted. You go into the movie, and I'm just using movies as examples just to get an example of what's going on, because not everybody's privy to high-level orders being given out, and then you being in the room for that. Not everybody's privy to that, but you can see it happening, and life imitates art, and art imitates life, right? Anyway, it says Trump reposted an article about a video released on Tuesday by 6 Democratic lawyers who served in the military or in the intelligence community. Seditious behavior punishable by death, the Republican president wrote in a Truth Social post. This is really bad and dangerous to our country, Trump wrote in an earlier post. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. Seditious behavior from traitors. Lock them up. And what is this creating? It's creating an environment that anything that can be deemed against the government, no matter how radical or illegal or immoral it may be, if it can still be labeled seditious, labeled seditious. Okay? This is what the dangerous, some of the dangers of having AI and robots, okay, programmed. Because they'll program it with a certain word like seditious, and then they'll give them the current laws versus the moral compass that people have in them, whether they're Christian background or whatever kind of background, okay? And then they won't understand. And what is that? It seems like every video now references another Black Mirror video. There's a Black Mirror movie, episode called Man Against Fire, I believe it is. And it's where there's a so-called black man. His chip glitched for you to understand, right? His chip glitched, and now he's not seeing these quote-unquote roaches, okay? He's starting to see scared, hungry, scared people. But when his chip was going, he saw them as real aggressive and combative people with ugly faces, and and then they had to just kill them because they were roaches. But when his chip started glitching, he started seeing them without that illusion put over them, okay? And it looked like they were just scared people. They were just scared instead of the opposite, right? Well, you leaving it to something that doesn't have the natural human emotion to judge. Okay, and this, you can't look at it for what he said. Also, Democrats only. What do you think the message of the Bible is? It's seditious. When you start putting all the context in, Esau, Edom, shall be burned with stubble. There'll be no more remaining of the house of Esau. Coming with dyed garments from Basra. You start putting all of these scriptures together. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. You put all this together, and it's seditious. Okay, it was an understanding what America and the American government did. It's an understanding, okay, of what goes on in all these situations. So when lawlessness breaks out and they have an opportunity to have a totalitarian, authoritarian, draconian situation, moment to rule here in America, what do you think the Bible is going to sound like? Okay, what do you think is going to spread into? This word seditious is going to spread right into the internet. Okay, I just saw a post that said, matter of fact, let me grab it. A brother just dropped it. All right, so I found it in the Elder Yashawamba's community in his YouTube page. It says, breaking: X has temporarily disabled translation from Hebrew to English for posts made by Israeli users. X made this decision because such Hebrew posts often call for violence and genocide. Okay? Translation from Hebrew was disabled because it often amplified inflammatory or policy-violating content, like calls for violence to a global audience via inaccurate or literal renditions. X prioritizes free speech for opinions but limits features that exacerbate harm without suspending originals. No evidence supports targeting any group. It's about platform integrity amid documented spikes in Hebrew hate speech. Okay, so the censorship has been anteed up, okay? And only in certain different situations, because you could say nigger, this and that all day. Okay? That violence and twerking and all things that are actually detrimental to us, to our people, it stays up no problem. Okay? So there is a double standard. All right? And so you edified about it. The word sedition. So when you read it or you see it and you understand what it really means, you get it, right? And you understand that what we're doing will be labeled seditious. It was no different in the ancient time. It's a sedition in the online Oxford Dictionary. Simple Google, it says conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state or monarch. Okay? Apart going. Violent strife. Okay? And that's what it's about. Okay, so when you see it, you know that this is inciting people to do the opposite of what the people said. And what are we telling people? Don't take the MOT to the B. The micro C hip. Don't take it. Okay? The more and more we say things like that, okay, the more and more we're going against what this government, monarch, or state, or authority is talking about. So real quick video, just want to throw that out there, but we see it coming, and which leads right to the famine of the word. So Lord will edify, giving all praise and glory unto Yahweh. To the next one, Shalom.